Okay, today's a spicy one. We're going to talk about game reviewers and can we trust them? Listen, how many times have you bought a game, you see a 9 out of 10 review score, and you rush to buy the game? An hour later, you're looking for refund options. Happens to me all the time. Even worse, you get a game, you see a low review score. Later on, you see the game on sale after a couple years. You buy it, you play it because you wanted to play it, but you didn't because everyone said you shouldn't. You end up loving the game and realizing it's a hidden gem. Also happens to me all the time. Listen to me. These game reviewers aren't reviewing the same game me and you are reviewing. And at some point, it's almost not fair to drag them through the coals the way we do. But there is certain ones, which we'll get to later, which deserve it. Listen, these guys are on a deadline and they're in a rush. If you're talking about a big publisher like IGN or GameSpot or someone like that, these guys get their game and then they have to review it and get it out the door on time. Their whole business revolves on being the first to do something, whether it be a game review, a game critique, a preview of the game. And those first time and first to the gun things rely on a good relationship with the different publishers and game companies as well. So that's why when we all have that funny meme of IGN gave it a 7, there's probably a reason why. They got to maintain a good relationship. So right there off the bat, do you really think you can trust a company like that? They have to review a game in a week. Let's say they get their game a week early. Okay, are they going to play it on normal or hard or easy difficulty? They're going to play it on easy difficulty because they're on a time crunch. Now on easy difficulty, are they going to experience all the game mechanics they should? No. They're going to walk through the park and have a breeze with the game. Is that going to give them the right opinion and the right idea of what the actual game should be like? I don't know about you, but when I play a game on easy mode, I can close my eyes and just press the button and everything happens that's supposed to happen. That's not really a great game in any sense of the form. So when you're reviewing a game and just breezing through it like this, I don't really trust your opinion. I don't think a lot of reviewers are putting games on normal or easy mode and playing through them and getting stuck on bosses and bashing their head against the wall and being like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. How am I going to get this game review out the door in time when I'm stuck on the third boss of the game and there's 5 more? They're not. They're just not. They're going to put it on easy mode. Or even worse, like some YouTubers, they're going to just lie and say they play the game and gave it some mediocre bandwagon score because they watch everyone else's reviews and then just say, oh, I guess I got to get a video out, but I didn't get an early review code, so I'm just going to make a video going off of what everybody else said. Then you got Metacritic scores. Everyone's just getting review bombed for reasons they either should or shouldn't. But if those reasons that they should or shouldn't don't align with your political or your moral beliefs of why they should or shouldn't be getting review bombed, then now can you even trust the review score? I think the real review score probably lies somewhere in between the user score and the critic score. That's probably somewhere in between, in my honest opinion. But at the end of the day, I mean, who can you really trust? We have big publications that have biased agendas and messages they want to put out. They have to play it safe or they have to pander to whatever's popular at the time. Do you really think you're going to get someone's raw, honest opinion like that on a game? You're just not. It's not going to happen. Then you have YouTubers. You can trust most of the YouTubers to at least give their honest opinion, I think. But their honest opinion is based on their own beliefs and morals and thoughts and sometimes agendas and whatever else and preferences. It doesn't even have to be something sinister. It can just be their own preferences. And now if that doesn't line up with yours, you know, it's not going to be a great review for you to listen to, and you're going to be getting an opinion and basing your opinion on something off of someone else that doesn't even have the same alignments as you do when it comes to things that you would have based your opinion on in the first place. It's silly. A lot of these guys, and I've seen them, they don't even finish the games. They literally just go off of what everyone else is saying and bandwagon off of it. You think someone can come out and say something like, I think Ghost of Tsushima was a mid-game, but I think it had excellent combat? That's my opinion. I'm about to get flamed for it. I don't care. It's just my opinion. It shouldn't bother you. Having friends and having people that you can speak with that have different opinions and then learning to formulate your own based off of that, or maybe see a good point in theirs and interject it into your, this is how life's supposed to be. We're not just supposed to all argue just because I think something a little differently than yours. If it's something that's going to affect the greater good of the world, okay, I get it, but we're not talking about that right now. I'm talking about video games and whether we think certain game mechanics and things are hard, political agendas aside. Certain people love Souls games, so they're never going to bash the Souls games that come out and says, "Oh, maybe this one isn't as great as the last." They don't want to ruin the relationship with the developer. They don't want to ruin the relationship with that community that they have of people that already follow them for those types of specific reviews for those types of specific games. You know, it's hard to make your own opinions nowadays and say them and not have somebody offended somewhere. I'm pretty sure I said that exact line in one of my previous videos, and that's just because it's true, especially when it comes to stuff like this online. You have to find people who you trust, who will formulate an opinion based on things that you want them to formulate an opinion on, and then go with that. And then I understand $80 is a big price cost to formulate an opinion nowadays, so listening to reviews is almost necessary, but you're going to get influenced. And getting influenced is either a very bad or a very good thing, depending on which way you look at it. I've had games and movies that people told me were amazing that I went in and watched, and because my bar and expectation was set so high, I didn't end up enjoying it because I just expected more that was not there. Or I've had the complete opposite happen, which is often a very pleasant surprise, where a game or a movie gets review bashed and it's this is crap or it's not good. Okay, and then I go and end up watching it for myself, and I guess just because my expectations and my bar is set so low, I end up really liking it. Or I find a lot of good things in it that I otherwise wouldn't if I would have just been bandwagoning and hating on it. Let's go back to the reviewers for a moment because I'm getting off of track. Reviewers for big publications, I don't think you can trust. And I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying it's the nature of the beast. They're not getting games a month early. I don't think, at least most of them. They're getting games on a time crunch where they are forced to play as much as they can in a certain amount of time and see as much of the game so they can give as much of an opinion as they can. They're either rushing through it or they're playing it on easy mode, or if you're lucky enough that they're not rushing through it and not playing it on easy mode, how often do you think we're also lucky enough that they also don't have some kind of agenda, or they also don't have some kind of belief that doesn't align with yours, or they also aren't being pushed by their publisher and company to say, make sure you don't review bomb this, or make sure you don't give it too low or too high of a score because we don't want to get people mad, or we don't want to piss off the relationship with the company or with the other publishers. There's so much that goes into these big giant reviews, and that's why you see IGN 7s all the time. It's just, that's why it's the meme is there of IGN gave it a 7. It's because it's somewhere in between keeping the peace and actually giving their honest score. And I think that's why. And it's so just easy to be like 7 because you just piss less people off until you do it long enough that people start to notice. And on the opposite end, you have people that just review bomb games for whatever reason, which doesn't often align with like our beliefs or your beliefs or theirs. And then that's no good either, because now you see a game that's all of a sudden, this is a garbage game, and you don't know if it's an actual garbage game because it's full of microtransactions and loot boxes, or if somebody's just mad that the protagonist isn't the exact way they wanted them to be. You know, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it. Now we're going to touch on actual YouTubers. YouTubers, there's no qualifications to do this. Anybody like me can just get a good camera. You don't even need a good camera, I guess, but regardless, anybody can just get a setup, set it up, get on camera, start yapping their gums like I do, and that's it. You now reviewed a game. I can take a game, play it today, get on camera, review it tomorrow, post it on YouTube. I'm now a YouTube reviewer. I now am a game reviewer because there's no qualifications to do it. Anybody can do it. And when people realize that, they started doing it. And that's why you see so many reviewers. So you really, really have to figure out who you can trust and who you want to believe. Just find some people that you think are decent and honest and listen to their reviewers. Most of the reviewers I listen to, they don't even put out the day one reviews. You don't see a review from them till normally like a couple weeks or a month later, even sometimes up to a couple months later, because they really just want to take their time with the game, figure out how they want to formulate their opinion and what they want to say. And they really put their time and effort into it. And they're not just trying to get it day one out the door for clicks because I need to make a video because I need to eat. Those people who just live off of the YouTube reviews, I don't trust them. I can't. It's just by nature you can't. Humans are humans. They've got sponsors and other things that they have to, outside influences, things that they have to pay. So they have to make sure that the same way with the big companies, they're not pissing anybody off. This company gave me a review code early. Am I really going to say their game was trash and then not get another early review code and then not be able to put out a video on the next game on time and then not get my views and clicks? This is how those things work. So, you know, there's definitely people you can trust, but I think they're getting far and few in between. There's a lot of good people out here, and I have a lot of good people I watch. And you can trust a lot of people, but there's also ones that you can't trust. There's ones that have agendas, biases. They're going to do things to make you formulate an opinion that's closer to theirs just because they want people to have their side, because some people are weird and can't, for some reason, stand someone having a different opinion than them. Listen, this is what we have to touch on. And the last thing, make your own opinions. I understand it's expensive to do. It basically costs $80 to make your own opinion, but just do it. Watch some gameplay of like a muted review, not a muted review, but some like muted gameplay or some gameplay that doesn't have an actual review attached to it. Watch early gameplays and things like that. And then look, does this look like something I'd want to play? Because that's basically what you had to do back in the day. You'd see a commercial for the game. The commercial would show some gameplay, and then you'd be like, okay, let me see if that's something I like or not. And you'd base your opinion based off of that. And there's a lot more wider availability to things like that nowadays with every game that comes out. So you don't have to just listen to other people to formulate opinions. I'm not saying reviewers are bad. And this isn't a video bashing on reviewers. It's really not. I have a lot of reviewers I listen to, a lot of guys I trust and love that I listen to on a regular basis. And I trust what they have to say because I know the way they formulate their opinions and I know what goes into making those reviews. But the fly by night, I'm going to release a review of every game after I play it for a couple hours. I don't know if they even finished it. They just went off of everyone else's stuff and they're too scared to formulate their own opinion. I'm not sure if those are things we should trust or you should even listen to in the first place. So do your own thing, figure out what you want to play, but maybe don't always use everyone else's opinions to figure that out. A Metacritic score isn't the end-all be-all of a game. I have lots of games that are 5s on Metacritic that are in my like top 50 games for sure. So, don't let it be the end-all be-all. Okay, this isn't a video of me bashing the reviewers. Once again, I like a lot of reviewers. I'm not bashing all of them. I'm bashing some of them, or most of them. Not most of them. Formulate your own opinions. That's what you should do. Don't just go off of what everybody else says, because there's a lot that goes into what everybody else says, and it's not always the stuff that should be going into it. All right? Okay. Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate you. I'm out.